All right, so everything's looking pretty good. Hit play. Everything's lining up. The problem is it still doesn't look quite real. And this is what I'm talking about. If we go to this and I play this, there's something very cool happening here. This is chain slap, okay? It's bouncing up and down is what a real chain would do. And then at the bottom of this, we've got this little gear pushing up on the chain. So it really looks dynamic. So let's stop this. We're going to go back here and we're going to add in that chain slap. So I'm going to go into my front view by hitting F4, and I'm going to turn the grid back on. And then I'm just going to go over here and switch off the cloner because we don't need to see that right now. And so here's our spline, and what we need to make this spline chain slap are 2 points here that we can move around. So with my knife tool, and I'm going to go kind of in the center here. This looks about like center. Go down and cut. And so now we've got these 2 points that we can move around, and that's exactly what we want. So I just undid that. So we need 2 objects to move those, and the easiest thing is just a polygon. So I'm going to go in here, I'm going to make that +Z, and I'm just going to move it out here somewhere. Doesn't matter where for now. I'm going to call that top chain slap, and I'm going to bring that in here, and then I'm just going to control and drag and make this bottom chain slap. And I'm just going to move that down here. Okay. So what we need to do is we need to, this spline has a lot of points on it, so we need to figure out what point this is. So if we select that and we go down here to structure, you're going to see that that is point 11. Now if your structure is not docked over there, you can find it under here, under window, structure. So 11, you want to make a note of that, or whatever your number is, and then I'm going to select this, and that's going to tell me 5. So my top slap is 11, my bottom slap is 5. I'm going to go back to the objects, double click this, I'm going to go in here and get the point node. Alright, this is what I was talking about before, why I don't use this yellow, because that means the Xpresso node is messed up, or not messed up, but isn't working properly yet. And so let's bring this in here. We need to tell that point node which object we want it to look at the points. All right, so there we go. And to get this position, we need this top chain slap positioned exactly on that point, and the same with the bottom chain slap. So the easiest way to do that is just to bring this in. We're going to grab coordinates, global position, and grab that global position. And if you take this point position and I hook that up to this, you're going to see that jump right, not to the right place, because we don't have the point index in here. It jumped to that point, which is 0. So if we put 1, 1 in here, bang, it goes right where it's supposed to be. And of course now we're going to do the same thing with the bottom one, which I know is 0.5. Okay, and let's hook the spline, and now we bring in that bottom one. Again, go in here to coordinates, global position, and just grab that global position, and let's, it's down there right now. Well, we're not going to be able to, well, we can. So we're going to take that point position and we're going to position that, and that jumped right to position. Okay, so right now those are positioned correctly, but they're not going to do us any good. Well, actually, that's not true. Oh, I know why. Okay, I'm moving the actual point, and we have no way of doing that. But if I go to this bottom thing, I can't even move it. The only reason that was moving is I still had that point select. Go to the top, I can't move it. It doesn't do anything. So the only reason we went through that deal was to get those positioned exactly so we don't destroy our spline. So let's disconnect both of those, and if you double click on that port, it will remove it. And now we want to go in on the red side because we want to control that point, and we're going to go coordinates, global position again, global position. And let's bring that back here. And let's keep our points. This is our top, this is our bottom. And we're going to go to the red box on the right, coordinates, global position, and we're going to bring that here. Now if we go to the top point and we go to point position, okay, we're still at 11 index, and now we're going to do that. So now it looks like that is in the exact same place. It doesn't look like anything has changed, and we're going to do the same thing here. Point position, and there. So nothing's changed. The boxes look exactly the same. They're in the same position, but here's the big difference. Now we can take that box and move that spline point. Okay, and now we can take this box and move that spline point. Okay, so I'm going to undo. And I am going to, and I hope this works, freeze all, and freeze all. And the reason is I want to be able to get either of these back to 0, untouched, so our spline remains untouched. And I do want to look at that spline point. Yep, it's still got that. And okay. All right. So we're ready to animate this up and down, so we get a little bit of that chain movement. So let's just go in here, put a keyframe on Y, and move ahead, say, 4 frames. Let's make this 10. Move ahead, maybe to 10. We don't want it real regular. 10. Let's make this minus, I don't know, -8. Move ahead to, let's say, 16. I'm going to pull this back so it's 16. Make this 10. And let's go up to, let's just do 20. And make this -4 or so. And take this to, say, 20, 26. And we'll make this, let's go up to 12. And then we'll go to 30. And we'll make it, let's make it -7, I guess. Okay, so let's see what we got there. Alright, that looks pretty good. Okay. So now let's extend our little animation we did by going up to Window, bring up the Timeline F curves, and there's our animation. So if you grab this, if you select that, you see we get a new window, the track opens up. And so we have a before and after. So we want our action to take place after our animation, and we want to repeat. And I'm just going to put in 300 just so it keeps repeating forever. And right away you can see that we have a repeating animation. Now the only thing is, so we want to take this and pull it up to 0. I believe that was our start. So we get a nice oscillating curve. And let's just click that to the side. And let's see how that plays. Okay. Okay, so let's turn our links on. And let's hide this top polygon object. And let's it looks real good now. Okay, so I think we're getting pretty close to the end. We want to make our last little cog wheel right in this area. So I'm just going to grab this medium one, and I'm going to hold Control, and I'm going to copy that whole rig. And then I'm going to come in here to this little cog. Let's go right here first. And just move this guy down here somewhere, like right in there. And then we're going to go in here and we need to make this 8 teeth. So there's 8 teeth. And the radius should be good. Let's just check. This cog with 143. So 143. Yep, that's perfect. So now we have to go into this inlay, and probably going to be way too many of those, and this diameter radius is, yeah, those are too big. Center hole radius is way too big. I'm just going to get rid of the cutout for this one. And then the ring radius. So, and do whatever you want with this stuff. I mean, it doesn't matter. Okay, so now we want to take that key and move it in about there. And you see, really only one tooth hits in there. And the tooth that's hitting in there is a little thick. So let's see. I forget which of these. The root radius, okay. This, let's see. Yeah, it makes the height. But the module, I think, yeah. See if we can take down the module and... Oh boy, it's going to be tricky. Diametric pitch, nope. And yeah, okay, that might have something to do with it. So I am going to, oh actually no, that's perfect, because I was looking at the outer ring. What we need to be looking at is the inner ring. Okay, so that actually looks pretty good. Well, almost. What we need to do is take this bottom chain slap polygon. We're going to move it up so that there looks like there's tension on this other sprocket. And then we're going to take that and we're going to move it up into there. And I like, sort of, I want to take this, and I think we want to change this orientation. Yeah, we want a little bit on an angle. So let's move that into there. And now it's, yeah, I think that works a lot better. Okay, and because, and that could be the same size as this gear if you don't want this goofy little gear. You could have another bigger, you could have a gear this big in there. So since we have our fracture object and our time is already in there, and it's already at 200, but this sprocket is going to have to turn the opposite direction of these, and twice as fast as this one. So let's take this to 400, and then make it minus. Okay, and so when we hit play, everything should be functioning properly. Yep, perfect, perfect. That's right and right in there, right where it's supposed to be. Except look at that. That is not good. Okay, so what do we do here? What happened? We've got a problem. And, oh, there's the problem. Okay, so this is centered just fine, but this is not. So let's go up here, and what we're going to do is go up to Mesh, and we're going to go to Axis Center, and we're going to come down to Center Parent 2. All right, so now that is exactly the same as that, and let's see. Oh, look at that. We solved our problem. I don't know how that got off, but that's working beautifully. Holes are way too big probably, but I'm going to let you guys fix that and do whatever you want with that. So that is about it. Now I'm not animating this bottom because that is not really chain slap as much as it is just pressure to give it a, and you could even accentuate. Let's even accentuate that just a little more. I'm getting crazy here. So let's pull this up even more. Oh, that does look better. And then we just want to move this by that, and we're going to move that right up into there and move it over slightly and there. And so now perfect. Okay, and then so we go into here and we got our rig. Okay, So the only other thing left to do is to go into our, oh no, there's actually another thing. We don't want to forget this. We want our small cog extrusion to be the same as our large. So I want to pull this into here. Actually, I'm going to show you another way. I'm going to just copy this, copy the cog well medium extrude. I'm going to take this, which now should be small. We're going to make SM, SM, and now I'm going to drag that right onto this, and that changed to small. We're going to hook this up to this. I want to change the color of these so we remember that this is a different part. And we should be pretty good. And let's roll that back and play. That all works. Stop that. And let's do our enlarging, and everything is working properly. So one last thing to do is we'll just put our little bit of rounding on the edges of this, and we are done. Okay, so the last thing, let's just put a little rounding on these edges. So I'm going to use this search tool, and I'm going to type in extrude, and it's going to bring up all our extrudes. So the ones we want to do are these sidebars and the hubs. Okay, we're not going to do the rollers. So I'm going to grab this sidebar, I'm going to grab that hub. I'm holding down Command so I can just select certain ones. This sidebar, you're not going to do anything, you can't do anything with the instances. They're going to be automatic. Going to grab that hub and then all three cogs. And just so we don't have to do this again, in case I lose that, we're going to go into Select, Selection Filter, and create a selection object. Okay, so that's going to put all the ones that we want to work with in a selection object. And I'll show you how that works in case you haven't used it. And so every time we lose that selection, we go here and there it is. Now we hit Restore Selection, and that's going to bring up all of these selection extrude objects that we wanted to work with. And so what I want to do is, it's going to get a little funky here as we go. So I'm going to go into Fillet Caps for all these, and it's taken a minute because these cog wheels, there they go, they're getting in. And so we want to make sure, especially for this setup, that we hit Constrain so that we don't lose our setup. And of course this is way too big. We're going to go to 1 and 1 for all of this stuff for now. That looks pretty good. And I'm going to do 2 subdivisions. I don't want to go too crazy with that because I want to make sure that this thing still plays with ease. 35 frames a second, that's good. And go back in here, and everything looks pretty good. Now the only thing I did different, and I'm going to go ahead and do it here, is I rounded these hubs a little more. And so all you have to do is go in here to the wide, to this, and just grab these two, the 2 hubs. And I think I'm doing the wrong side. Okay. Well, yeah. You know what? I don't even think I like that. So I'm going to go back. I kind of liked them a little more square. Yeah, I'm going to leave that. Okay, so the only other thing that I'll show you, and I'm going to command and drag that back, is if you want to have a lot of these in your viewport, you may want to turn off the geometry on these sidebars, and it's easy enough. All you have to do is enabled. Okay, we're gonna drag that right in here, and I'm gonna say show always, and then the wide sidebar enabled. And you could do this with all of it if you want to. And I'm gonna hit show always. Now if you need, it's like right now we're at 35 35 frames per second, so that's well above. I mean, it's above what we had. But if you click these, it takes those away, and now you'll see like 54 frames per second, which, you know, for a single one doesn't matter. But if you start getting more of these in here, then it will. So one last thing before we close this up, I want to take that gear drive, and I'm going to go up here and create an instance, okay? And then I'm going to drag it out here, and see, you can already see the performance is getting a little funky, and that's when you start building a lot of them. You know, may need to do a Xrev. Oh, come on, come on. Okay, 180. All right, and before we're done there, and part of it is because I'm recording. So let's quantize that. And so now we have a whole nother rig. Well, no, we don't. We have that. I could have pulled another rig. We could have just copied that whole rig, and then you could actually reverse the direction. But this is okay just to show, you know. And so, yeah, but see, now we're really chugging. And part of that is because I'm recording. But if you, instead of copying or making an instance, if you take that whole thing, okay, and take it around, oh boy, that's actually performing better, I think. Yeah, 180. Go in here. Now you see these things have doubled. That's because we've got two sets now. You want to command, hold, and pulling these down. So this is our second set. So now, see, that actually plays pretty well. Now, if we want to get that one to go the other way, all we have to do is go in here, get rid of that minus sign, and now we're starting to build a big gear setup. And let's stop that, and we can even move that down a little bit. And that's playing pretty nice. Two chain setups, and we're still at 31. Now that's with the sides off, sidebars, but we're still at, you know, 30 frames a second, and we got plenty of you know, viewport responsiveness. So, oops. So there it is. Hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.